One thing for me, I hope you're ashamed of yourself. You should be. It's 70 degrees out. You have bunny hoops on.
Prosecutor's office. For questions regarding impounded vehicles, press 1. If you are calling about a subpoena or to speak to the receptionist during business hours, press 0 or stay on the line. Your call will be answered in the order it was received.
You reach the municipality of Anchorage. For quality assurance and training purposes, your call may be monitored or recorded.
Municipal Prosecutor's Office, this is Samuel. How may I help you?
Yes, I'm trying to get a hold of Prosecutor Travis D. He's supposedly in charge of my case.
Okay. It's Travers, Travrs, and G-E-E.
Okay.
Yeah, I can put you through to his line. One moment.
Okay.
This is Prosecutor Travers D.
Yes, my name's... And I was calling to get some stuff for my case. Currently, you guys have video evidence on my camcorder that I need my hands on.
Okay, so if you're requesting discovery information, then you need to come into our office and fill out a request form.
Where's your office at?
It's in City Hall, and it's the second floor of City Hall.
Currently, my bond order is to prevent me from entering downtown area, which includes City Hall or the courthouse. So I'm unable to go into your office and do that kind of request due to the fact that it would be in violation of my bond order.
You have a bail condition saying you're not supposed to go downtown?
Yes.
Never heard of a bail condition to that effect. What's your case number?
Case
And
number...
you're not represented by an attorney at this point?
Not at this moment.
Okay. The reason I ask that is because if you are represented by an attorney, that's who I need to be speaking with. I can't speak directly to you because it's viewed as me bypassing your attorney, and you have a right to have your attorney be involved in any interactions with me. So that's why I'm checking. So you're not represented by an attorney right now?
I am not represented by an attorney right now.
Okay.
So,
okay. Let's pull up your case. Never heard of a bail condition that says that you're not allowed to go downtown. You said you are not allowed to go to the courthouse?
According to the thing, I am not allowed to enter the areas between C Street and L Street and 15th Street north on up to the military base, essentially.
So how have you been making it to court?
I'm still trying to figure that one out myself, so... But that's what the magistrate set.
What's your case number?
3ANMIS 07831CR.
Have you been arraigned yet?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Because that isn't a court case number. That might be a citation number?
That is the case number on the docket that they handed me at the over at the place where they hold everybody over. I think the courthouse it was, or something like that. If you want, I have the police report number too, so.
That'd be perfect. What's the police report number?
15-35401.
35401. Okay. Trespass. Well, I'm trying to remember what street the courthouse is on. I definitely am seeing a reference to some limitations in terms of downtown. 15th Street. Interesting. I've never seen that condition before. Regardless, so we haven't filed charges yet. What I was seeing is it still looks like it's at the screening phase. We probably will be soon. I'll be reviewing the case and deciding whether or not to file charges here. The latest that we can do that is 10 days before your arraignment date. And so, anyways, that's where that's at with that. There isn't any way to get discovery from us first. Are you asking for your possessions to be returned to you, or are you asking for a copy to be made of the evidence so you can review it?
Well, ideally, I want my stuff returned, but the thing is, because the two cameras that you hold, only one of them was recording. And the thing is you handed back everything that would power up that camera, and the camera doesn't hold anything, but the memory card does. Now, if you want to keep the memory card, I can understand, but I want a copy of that footage if you're going to hold that memory card.
So it's not us holding it. So there's a state and the city who are both have prosecutors' offices, and so we review evidence sent to us, police reports, things along those lines, to determine whether or not to file charges. APD holds onto the evidence of evidence they've collected, and so it's through APD that you would interact with getting possession of the actual evidence. In terms of so we file charges against you. Whether either the state or the city decides to based off of the police reports and the evidence collected, file a charge, then you can request discovery, which is requesting documents that are within our control to be made available to you so you can review those in order to defend yourself against the charge. And so we haven't filed charges yet. So there isn't, in terms of just getting copies of it for your own review, this is too early for that. After the arraignment, you can make contact with our office to get copies of that. But all of that's separate from getting access to the actual evidence itself, which my understanding is that it won't be released until APD is 100% clear that charges won't be filed. Which at this point, as I said, I haven't reviewed the evidence yet to determine whether or not we'll be filing charges or not in terms of that. But I don't mind getting back to you after I've made that determination. I've just gotten back from vacation myself, and so there's a lot of things I need to do first. So I'm not going to be able to probably review the evidence today to determine whether or not we're filing charges, but I will in the near future here.
Okay, because I'm trying to get this stuff back as soon as possible, and I would like to have the video footage and, of course, other things from your office and APD. So
right. So there's nothing. In fact, I don't think we have the video footage yet. I think we'd have to make a request after we determine that we are going to file. Yeah, there's nothing in the video file, nothing in the audio file. All I have is police reports. So we'll be requesting that from APD if we decide to file charges. We'd say, okay, send that over. In some instances, we might say, okay, there's not enough in the police report. We actually need that information beforehand so we can make a determination ourselves whether or not there's probable cause, because that's what we're deciding, is there probable cause to file a charge. So, but I doubt that. Most likely what I'll be relying on is the police report. So I don't actually have the video turned over to me. APD has that. And once again, likely it would be a copy that's sent my way opposed to the actual thing itself. The reason is that the prosecutor, isn't the evidence that's collected in a case needs to be staying with someone usually outside of the prosecutor's office. I mean, we don't want to have us in a situation where we can tamper with the evidence. We don't want it to be ambiguous whether or not evidence has been tampered with by a prosecuting agency. And so that's where the police have it, and we usually will, when we present it, let's say if we went to trial, I call up the officer and have the officer present the evidence in terms of what it was. Copies of it is different because, that's something separate in terms of that. But I don't think I've ever had the actual media storage device of the evidence, turned over to me in terms of that. I'm not saying it's not possible that could happen. I'm just saying the reason normally we'd try and avoid that is to avoid any issues with us having maintained custody of the evidence before trial. So anyways, the short answer is that APD is who you need to talk to, and likely they're going to say, hey, we can't turn that stuff over right now because it's part of evidence of a potential case against you. And so as long as the case is open, we need to hold on to the evidence until the case gets resolved. So I'm doubting that they're going to turn it over to you, but they're the ones who you would want to talk to about it.
All right.
As far as I understand.
One thing that you most likely will be able to help me out with, I'm looking for what's known as a Brady list for officers that have been known to be dishonest in their testimony and stuff. Does your office keep track of that, or would I have to contact someone else for that?
I've never heard of such a list in terms of that. At trial, you would have a right to have access to any criminal convictions that any witness that I intend to call or anyone from our office intends to call, you'd be able to be entitled to see a list of any criminal convictions. If they have a crime of dishonesty, then you would see that. You may be talking about something broader than that, and that might not, I don't know if there's any sort of list or statistics out there. It's certainly not anything that I've heard of us maintaining in terms of, and once again, I'm not sure what the scope is that you mean by that. But in terms of just like anyone, you can look, people have criminal histories, which includes crimes of dishonesty. I don't think it's very likely that there'd be any officers who have convictions fitting into that, who are still employed by APD, but maybe it's possible. I don't know.
Well, the thing is this is in reference to a Supreme Court case called Brady v. Maryland. So that's the main one of the reasons why I'm asking, because I do have a right to that kind of information, since there's obviously a case against, a potential case against me. So that's why I was wondering if you might have that list where I can actually at least get started on my defense. So
I've never heard of a list of and once again, I'm not sure what the scope is. I mean, people can mean dishonesty in many different ways. I mean, and so I don't know if you mean a list of dishonesty in regards to people who are convicted of crimes of dishonesty, or if you mean that a defendant thought during trial that the officer was being dishonest in their testimony. I don't know what, or whether or not there's some other form of investigation that you're referring to that made a conclusion that the person did something dishonest. I've never heard of any sort of thing going on. I mean, maybe there's something that APD keeps of complaints against officers or things like that. I don't know. It's not something where we have a list of anything that I could see fitting that description.
All right. I'm just asking that question to make sure on that. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to hearing about, hopefully how soon I'll find out if the case is going to go forward or not, and me getting my stuff back, hopefully. So.
Yeah, and you're welcome to call me in the future here. I believe I still have a phone number for you from your last message, and I'll let you know. Is that still a good number, the one you left before?
Yes.
It was a 910 number?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And so I'll try and get to it if I can tomorrow. If not, then I'll try and get to it this week to make a determination on that.
All right. Thank you very much.
And I'll let you know. Okay. Thank you. Bye. This is Travis Gee with the Municipal Prosecutor's Office.
Yes, just calling you back real fast. I got your voicemail.
Yeah, Mr. So I've been waiting for your physical file to show up. The reason is that while I have the digital reports, I don't have a list of your criminal history. So that hasn't shown up yet. I just checked my stack again and haven't found it. I'll tell you where I'm at with it. I don't want you to give me anything you say to me I can use against you. I'm not trying to
I understand. I have no intention of doing that. So.
Good. Okay. Well, what I'm going to say is what my thought process is on this so far. Reviewing the reports, it looks like I don't know what your motivation was in terms of this. If these reports are stating, the facts accurately, I don't know, why you were so interested with getting your camera in there and all of that. It looks like, from what the officers' reports say, is that they gave you quite a few warnings about that. Where I'm at with it right now is I want to see what your criminal history looks like. I suspect you were, trying to exercise probably what you perceive to be rights about being able to gain access to information and things like that, and and it looks like that was causing some real headaches for these officers in terms of that, who were trying to enforce a security line that they were needing to have up in order to provide protection for the president. So I want to get a sense of the context of what sort of problems have existed in the past with this. I am going to, at this point, I'm not sure that it is necessary to seek prosecuting this case to get across that, you need to be respectful of police officers trying to do their job. But if this is something that's happened before, then, it may be something where conviction is necessary. I'm trying to get a sense of that. So I'm going to need to wait for that physical file to come so I can take a look at your past convictions to determine what I want to do with this. But anyways, it certainly looks like the motivations, were of a nature probably directed towards, trying to be able to, exercise some rights in regards to, being able to gain, I guess, report or see events that were going on in your community. And, I have some respect for that as long as that it's not, causing trouble for police officers who are trying to do their jobs too in terms of that. So anyways, it's not the same as, say, someone who is trying to, squat on someone else's property or things like that. But I do need to get a sense of how many times you've had this issue with officers before. So anyways, that's where I stand on it. I don't know for sure. And I don't know, once again, my basis on that is not so much that there wasn't a trespass. There was, as far as I can see in the reports. I would have probable cause to do a trespass. It's more from the standpoint of being able to get a sense of really whether or not prosecuting that trespass is really necessary, or whether or not you might be able to kind of figure out how to exercise your rights effectively without doing that sort of behavior in the future. Which, as far as I can see, and once again, this is going off the police reports. I realize you have your side of the story. I'm not trying to tell you that police are always 100% right in their reporting or things like that. But from the police reports standpoint, it would be that if you had been responsive to the requests to stand back and things like that, then they probably then it looks like they wouldn't have charged you with anything. And so that would be if it looks like you haven't had this problem in the past, then what I'd be trying to get across to you is that you need to listen to police officers when they say that, and not kind of constantly disregard what they're saying. It would be the message that I would hope would be a takeaway. But anyways, I'll let you know when I actually get that physical file and can look at what your past criminal history is. I'll let you know what my decision is in terms of that. There may also be some options to resolve the case that are not seeking a conviction still. We might have to file a charge on it, but you might have some options for things like pretrial diversion and things like that. I don't know. I need to see your history, but there might be some options there that you could consider. And of course, if we do file charges, you can always consider your right to an attorney and things like that too, and defend the case if that's the way you want to go. But anyways, there might be some other options too. I'll just have to see where things are at with your criminal history first.
Okay, yeah. If I don't hear back from you, I'll give you a call on Monday. Pretty much that's what I've been setting aside, is just the call and update on Monday on the case kind of thing. So
yeah, that sounds good. And you can give me a call sooner than that. I am expecting that file so what happens is that the police reports and all that come in through our secretaries and things like that here. They prepare the file, run criminal background checks and things like that, and get that all ready for me. I would anticipate that I'd actually have this file, and I have a lot of other ones from that arraignment date, so I think it will be soon that I get it. So, you're not bothering me by calling and asking about this. I certainly understand you being concerned about what's going on with the case, and then also with your property that you're trying to get back. So anyways, don't worry in terms of calling me too much. If you check in tomorrow, that's absolutely fine. It's a good reminder for me to take a look at the stack and see if it's come in. So feel free to do that if you like.
Okay.
And if you don't, then I'll still keep on looking for it, and I'll give you a call once I find out.
I'll probably give you a call later this week then if you're expecting it that soon. So.
Yep. Sounds like a plan. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.